Hi, good day. It's been a long time since I came here. I've been occupied by very equally important activities for the past month. I've been observing the African Games on the sidelines and watching a few activities in the stadium as well. Commendations to all the Ghanaian athletes, commendations to everyone who participated, especially the field men. From tennis to arm wrestling to boxing to weightlifting to high jump to sprint and long, everything, especially football too. Everything about the African Games and our competitors has been extraordinary to me. Very extraordinary in the sense that it's opened the sporting scope beyond what we have usually known as the traditional Ghanaian sports. This has never been in doubt. So there are a lot of talent in Ghana. It's never been in doubt. And watching the African Games, people are even coming to know for the first time that there is Cecilia Mwako and her colleagues in hockey who are capable of becoming champions in the African competition. There is high jump for both men and women are equally impressive in these activities. So many sporting disciplines that our sportsmen and women have done themselves a lot of good. Cycling and the others, swimming, you see. So when it comes to talent, I don't think there is any denying the facts or anybody believes that Ghana has no talent in these fields. And this African Games, to me, the most important takeaway has been the fact that an African competition of this nature, a multi-sports event of this nature, opens up the sporting spectrum for others who necessarily wouldn't have gotten the opportunity to compete for this country on the international stage, to also get their chance to exhibit their God-given talent. And this is exactly what's happened. So my commendation first and foremost to all the Ghanaian athletes. They go through a lot with preparation, with the lack of investment and facilities. Some of them have moved from their comfort zones to stay with people down south or in areas where they will get the opportunity and have access to infrastructure. I've been very also fascinated by the kind of leadership in these areas, badminton, arm wrestling, even the para sports and all of that. I've been very impressed by how the leaders have also taken it upon themselves, the mantle to guide. It's not been easy for athletics and the other events. It's not been easy for them to have the control and authority to be able to lead the association. So it's quite difficult when you want to lead associations like that. I know for Charles Osasibe in arm wrestling, how far he has gone to be able to lead the association or federation to this point. Many Ajay also because another takeaway for me will be that we have facilities for many of the sporting events that ordinarily we wouldn't have the chance to build. This is the most important thing. It is very profound that but for the African Games, athletic ovals, international athletic ovals wouldn't have been available or accessible to Ghana. So commendations to the government for the investment, the people of Ghana for investing in such, to the minister, those who started the bidding process, to those who actually executed the African Games. It's not been easy, but for the lack of funds, I'm sure that the initial plan was to construct a 50,000 capacity stadium, a multi-purpose stadium, a standard or modern complex in Botswana. But for the funds, we couldn't have done that, or we couldn't do that because of the lack of funds for that activity. So let's commend the government from the bidding process to the execution, importantly, how things have gone and how we have been able to put these things, the negatives behind us. And also to the journalists, Ted, Ghanaian journalists are not negative. They are people who, to me, will report objectively. Majority will report objectively. And if you want to count the success stories of this African Games, you cannot discount the contribution of journalists, the initial heads up, the initial notices, the initial criticisms that they laid or we laid bare, pointed out to the authorities, because you would want to kill it as early as possible than for it to explode when it matters most. So I don't think that the people or journalists were being negative. Like I said before, initially, that we should wait for the end of the games. Just report on the games and wait for the end of the games. If there are any other issues to deal with, we will deal with that. But for now, hosting the entire African continent was a massive opportunity for us to also showcase what we've got as a country, despite our recent struggles. So Ghanaian journalists contributed immensely to the success stories of this African Games, and kudos to everyone, all the journalists who attended events, reported on the events, gave their platforms, because initially the games didn't catch up. That's why I come to the fans as well. The decision midway by the organizers to open up the games free of charge was a game changer. For the fans to come to the stadium to fill the stands in Cape Coast, at Boteman, in Bukom, at Legon, Accra, sometimes concurrently, it was massive. The initial decision to sell tickets when the publication and promotion had not sunk in with the fans was very difficult. So the stadia were empty. There were so many people in Accra and Ghana for to the large extent who didn't even know that there was an event ongoing in Accra. But when the reports started coming in, when the authorities decided to open up the stadium and share the tickets, because sometimes, like I say, you need to give free things to be able to attract and then sell it. That's the mode of promotion for those who've done branding. Sometimes you just need to give the product, if it's good enough, freely to people. They experience it and then they become addicted and they will come back. That's what has happened with the decision. So we commend the officials for taking that decision midway in the competition to attract the fans, share the tickets, allow everybody access, because financially and economically the situation in the country is not as good as we all wanted, and across the world as well. So when you have an opportunity, it happened in Cote d'Ivoire, prices of tickets were reduced drastically 2-3 days into the competition to allow for people. If you watch the opening ceremony in Cote d'Ivoire, the AFCON, the fans were not in the stadium as expected, but across the other games, people started coming in when the competition started gaining momentum and ticket prices were reduced and made accessible. And see, Yabebo Mpenyimfo na baso for that decision to give free tickets to the fans, and the fans, the vibe, the euphoria, they manufacture the sort of atmosphere that sportsmen will live on for years. Ghanaian fans and sports, no. Bukom was boiling. Cape Coast was extraordinary after the first 2 games, the initial hiccups. Accra came to light. Legon was always the fire center, especially with the Vandals and the Boteman complex. You know, everywhere was packed, and this is what sports brings to the nation. It's been a very, very, very roller coaster of a competition or event for Ghana. And like I said, the initial hiccups and the issues of lack of sports apparels for athletes, lack of equipment and all that. I think these are lessons for anybody or any local organizing committee and federation president and minister who may host events in future. Very valuable lessons. Only a fool doesn't learn from mistakes of such nature. And I am very particularly happy to hear the minister listen to him say he accepts responsibility for all those initial reports. Of course, it's not easy. That's the first time as a minister hosting an event of that nature. And to accept responsibility indicates that there were issues, there were challenges. We can even Russia, United States will not have it an event free of competition of that nature. You will always have the negatives. It is a trait of quality leadership to accept, especially when the competition are turned around, and the minister deserves that commendation for saying that he accepts responsibility. And not just accepting responsibility, we will also ensure and treat him to go to the roots of these problems at the end of the competition. People who deserve sanctions, people who deserve rebuke should be given as such, so that we don't encounter some of the petty challenges. Some of them were challenges as a result of our inability to do justice to very tasks that were easier. Now I take on to the events. Benjamin Azamati, Joseph Paul Amwa, Solomon Hammond, and Fusaini Issa, and all those guys, I think have done incredible. Track and field, it was sad to lose to Nigeria under that circumstance, but I think the guys discharged their duties creditably well, especially Joseph Paul Amwa, who I think is in the form of his life, and investment in these areas. In Legon, the facility will unearth many more talents. So congratulations to the Ghanaian team in that angle. Congratulations also to the hockey team. We've laid the Theodosia Oko hockey pitch, a new one, and we think that we need to invest properly. People who want to play hockey need to get the needed support, logistics, and equipment to be able to compete. Now that we have our turf already in place. Cecilia Mwako and her colleagues, congratulations to them for doing Ghana that proud with a gold medal against no other opponent like Nigeria. And then I come to the volleyball teams playing the final on the last day of the event, that's today. The bronze medal that they will be competing for in men and women. Congratulations to them. I also watched the Ghanaian team on the field at Chimota. It was not bad. Rugby and the other events were quite exciting. In swimming, even though we had to pull out at some points in the competition, but it's very obvious that talent there, it's enough. There is adequate and abundant talent in swimming that we can unearth and harness their capabilities to reach the highest points in their careers. Abeku Jackson has already made a name for himself as winning the first medal for Ghana in swimming under the circumstance. Congrats to his dad for the yeoman's job he's done on the kid. Even when there is no state support, this man has taken upon himself to train the kid to win a medal for Ghana. To the Ghana arm wrestling team, Charles Osei-Sibe, they have become the highlight of the competition for winning more than 20 medals in one day. And that is an incredible feat. Charles Osei-Sibe, after the infusion or subjugation of, what will I say, arm wrestling as a sport into the African Games, it's become quite incredible that he led the team to this number of medals for Ghana as a historic feat. So commendations to Charles. Athletics generally, Janet Amponsa, Rosie Abua. In high jump, this lady has been at this, defended this title from 2019, and I think she can even go further. Quite unfortunate from reports that she could not qualify for the Olympic Games with the jump that he did. But for Kadman Yeboah, also high jump man winning gold and celebrating in front of his students, the Vandals. Kadman looks like somebody who has the capacity to reach the highest in his career. You may not say that they are going to win world titles, but even if they win African titles, this will give the others in the competition or others in the events, those in secondary schools who want to pursue their career in high jumps, javelin and all that. So congrats to the athletics team, long and short of it. Those of you on the track, those in the sprint events, those in the marathoner who won silver. That guy had been there for a long time. Remember watching him at Asante Achim marathon, doing it and going to Dubai and all that. So Ghana has talent in all these areas: volleyball, basketball, handball, hockey, then to football. I believe what the Black Satellites and the Black Princesses have done is an indication of what we can do, given the chance as people, an opportunity. They lack the needed support. They've gone months or some of them years without their per diem and winning bonuses. But when they got the opportunity in front of their fans, you see, Basigi needs no introduction. A very solid coach in that respect or in that environment has carved a niche for himself as a winner, a serial winner for that matter. So congrats to Basigi Mukarama. Proud of you for how far you've gone, because at the start of the competition, people did not appreciate where she was coming from. They were judging Mukarama by the standards he set for herself at the world event under 17, but she's gone through a lot. Injuries nearly curtailed or truncated her career. She's back, and I am glad that she scored the winning goal together with the other players, John Boy in there, such a solid defender, and Grace Amenyeku and all those people in the Black Princesses team, assistant coach Joe Nana Dakwa. I think we can do more, we can do better if we give ourselves the chance and opportunity and honesty. If there is honesty like that, we will reach the level that we want to. Congrats to the Black Satellites team and their new coach Desmond and Neo Datelante, my man. You can clearly see that there is some good chemistry between the coaches and their bench. The team was solid. My own boy Jerry, a free year from my constituency, a free Sipa, and the other players in the team. I saw the midfield and quite incredible. Guys in there, how they hold the ball, the manner of mentality to score at that point when the stadium was full. It tells you how these guys were actually aside and prepared. Commendations to the Ghana Football Association, as I've done to the other federation heads. You can't do this by merely putting a team together and winning by default, winning in male and female. Like I always said, the Ghana Football Association current regime has done very well with women's football, not practically getting everything right, but at least in terms of investment and organization in the African women's football terrain, they've done very well with Gifty Owari Abuajo also coming on board and bringing her innovative skills and connections to bring bear some people to support the game. So commendations to the Ghana Football Association for winning double gold in men and women. This is the first time, a historic feat. And the most important thing I would say is that we need to keep these teams. We have a history of disrupting our own progress and transition once we win. But I see a lot of prospects and potential in both teams, the men and women. And like I've said for the other event and sporting disciplines, when it comes to football, it is not about individual sports and athletes management. You are managing a group. If we are able to transition 4, 5, 6 players into the Black Stars or Black Meteors team, first and foremost, we wouldn't have to be globe-trotting to look for players in Scandinavia or players who were born in Europe. That's always my stance. We may have extraordinary players in Europe, born and bred there, but the culture, the kind of vibe and atmosphere that these boys have enjoyed, it brings the habituality of winning. The fans have done them enough support in the tournament. They have grown to understand what it means to play for Ghana, and under circumstances that are very, very intense, sometimes toxic, and they've gone on to win. This is the mode of molding the players through the culture and tradition of the country in terms of football. So when they come to the national team, this is how Sule Muntari and Michael Essien and likes got to the highest point. They understand the culture, and because they have played for the junior national teams, so they will be better appreciating the level of the intensity that Ghanaians require, the level of support that Ghanaians will give them when they play well, better than somebody coming from, say, UK, not to say they are good, somebody coming from England without experiencing these things, and you cannot buy this sort of experience. So I will be very glad that we don't disrupt the team with management. Come and play for my team. If you don't play for my team, you play for the national team. The stories of we want to manage you before you get this. Impliedly, we may not even say it, but you have to sign for this team. We need to manage the players. We need to get their management, their individual managers, advise them on clubs to choose in order to accentuate their growth, not to truncate their career by choosing clubs that are not interested in their development but just want to sign them and get them onto the scene to perform at once. We just need to advise them, both the women and black princesses and the black satellites. The FA should be interested in their development, how they choose clubs moving forward. I know a lot of clubs will come on board. Their managers need to be advised on how they choose clubs to be able to get to the highest point of their career. They don't need to sign for clubs because of money, but at this point, if you are 18, 19 years, like the Mohai Son boy, Jerry Afriye boy, and Frederick Kessie and the other players, the guy from Lions and the goalkeeper, I think that we have so many players in this team who will be capable of. At this point, I wouldn't want to rush anybody to say they are at a level where they can play for the Black Stars, but I want to see their development. Maybe in friendly games, they have the opportunity. This is how we progress. So we commend the Football Association. This is what the fans want. Nobody is saying that you can win every game, but the conduct on the pitch, the commitment, the zeal and enthusiasm you show, even if you lose, I'm sure that Ghanaians were going to cheer them. We've done this. The support was massive. So there needs to be something to reignite the interest. And I'm glad that it's coming back. Thanks to the African Games and to the journalists. These are the things that we need to be doing. Get people on their toes, not praise singing every time. When they do well like this, you commend them. If there are areas that we need to fix, we support and fix. If there are areas that we think that people are becoming too comfortable with losing, we cannot sit and allow those things to happen. When we keep on losing and descending to the point where it becomes difficult for the team to get back to their usual standards. So this is the standard that Ghanaians require. Not winning throughout, but at least give your best, show your talent, and give the maximum that you can give for the country. And the fans will come to the stadium to support. So let's maintain the standards. We may lose games. The fans should still come to the stadium. We may lose games, but the fans should have the players at heart and know that losing is part of the game. But losing and making it a habit is something that is unacceptable and not un-Ghanaian. And these are things that we have said constantly, that we need to fix these areas. Our youth teams, under 15, under 16, under 17, under 20, under 23. And these are the players that we get in the Black Stars. We fix our fundamentals from the leagues. We fix them, women's football, pitches, refereeing, little by little and step by step. I'm sure we'll get there. It's been a very big game, and the opening ceremony by Shatawale, closing ceremony by Stoneboy. You can't get much more than this. So congrats to everyone, the government of Ghana for this job, the Minister for Youth and Sports, the entire ministry, the NSA, and the local organizing committee for how far they've carried and turned around this competition that initially looked like being a burden on the country and sort of a challenging task. Of course, this is how Ghanaians are. This is what we are made of. So salute to everybody, and let's maintain the standards till we reach the apex of sports that we are capable of reaching. Thank you very much.